you can really get some great information there. So download the app.
Judging by the livery or paint scheme, I think that's Ted Giovannis there with TGM just outside of Bruce Raymond in that Porsche Cup car. Not sure if it's Ted or Hugh Plum.
Here we go
then. There he goes spinning off there. The Porsche Cup car I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Spun, missed the wall by about an inch. As we look at Ray Evernham go up the turn one, followed by Bruce Raymond. This should be a good race here.
Yeah, the silver-haired car in second, silver-haired racing car in second place at the moment. But Ray Everingham, down the hill he comes in the 24, the Corvette.
In the Trans Am race, racing a TA2 car, so it's
right.
not unlike him to see a TA2 car behind him. He's in a GT1 car that he raced with us at VIR. Pretty car that Bruce Raymond's driving.
Yeah, very nice.
So look for Ray Evernham to really pull out ahead in that high horsepower TA GT1 car as we see Pancho Weaver.
Pancho doing a bit of R&D.
Yeah, Pancho Weaver designed that car out of his garage, and now he's out here racing it. Boris said was on the podium with us yesterday. And then that's the number 40.
That's Dan Malloy in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 358 from Georgia.
Nice. St. Mary's. Well, welcome. If you're joining us on our social media channels, leave us a comment like this one from J.R. Gordon Sr., who says he really wants us to post a listing of the classes in your groups. Trying to decipher your schedule is pretty difficult. And I believe with that. I think we're going to try on this offseason to get a little bit more easier to understand these classes and more.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And the history of the cars as well.
Yes. So, JR, I hope we listened to you there because that was good. And Michael Fornetti says, congratulations, Tony Fornetti, third place. Love from Mom in Michigan. Those were the Yoopers. They got mad at me last time for saying that they were cheeseheads from Wisconsin. They're actually from the Upper Peninsula, and they call themselves Yoopers.
Oh.
There he is, Pancho Weaver.
And you know it's Boris's car because he's just taped up the rear left-hand side of it. So Boris has raced that to a healthy, 7th place today?
And Pancho Weaver's pretty famous in the stock car industry and Trans Am. He built cars and chassis for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. He builds a great car, and it's just pretty much a 1 or 2 man operation out of his garage at his house in Mooresville, North Carolina. But because every car he builds seems to be at the top of the podium, as we see Ted Giovannis lose something off of his wing on the front straight.
So this is the last SVRA group race of the day. And the light fading somewhat because it's a little bit cloudier this afternoon. But we've been blessed with a fantastic weekend. Really have been lucky.
There's Vidovic in that Python.
Now let's have a look at the times. There's been some interest obviously in the lap times. Ray Everingham just at a 126.9. He's also doing R&D.
Oh, that's David Richardson. Sorry about that. That's not Ted Giovannis. That's David Richardson, currently 8th, but he's the one that obviously had some contact there. Sorry to interrupt, Jonathan, but wanted to make sure I got it right.
No, I would say that we were saying that Pancho Weaver's done some R&D. Well, I think Ray's doing a bit of that too because, of course, he's starting his own series, and so I think he's just getting a feel for the cars, and he's got some very, very interesting drivers, including our own Trans Am hero, Willie T. Ribbs.
Yeah, and I think as soon as he announced that, I bet you the drivers were coming out of the woodwork wanting to race in that. But he and Tony Stewart are putting this together. I think it's called SRX, which should be really fun to watch. There he is.
Now that's an interesting spectator,
so,
isn't it?
Boris said.
How about the tables turned?
Yeah, so that's the
Pancho Weaver prepares a good car.
So he's now crew chief for Pancho Weaver. His crew chief in Trans Am.
No, he's not. He's photographer.
Hey.
He's doing PR.
Yeah, let's see, look at that. Boris said, man of many talents right there.
Absolutely.
Just your TV screen, that is his true hair. Pancho Weaver coming into 10A. I'm sure if Boris was on the radio, he'd be saying, go faster.
No, I think he's probably delighted that Poncho's got a chance to try it out himself. So all those things that Boris tells him about the car, he can witness them for himself. So he's ready to take the picture, and he takes it now. There you go. Wow. He's got it.
So follow Boris Said on social media. Actually, it
I'll
looked
tell
like he
you
was
what,
on
Tony
Facebook
Garcia,
Live.
watch your back.
That's funny. I think he was on Facebook Live. I saw video there. You'll see the duct tape there.
All right.
From an off right at this very place that Poncho is. I have a great story about George Vidovich in that Python Cobra. He sold his business in 2017, shipped the race car to LA in November 2017 to race at all the tracks in the U.S. So Vidovich is living the dream out here in that Python. So that is a cool story.
Well, I tell you what, you created quite a stir yesterday with RC's story about Deedpole changing his name, and a lot of people have since changed their name by Deedpole. I'm going to be JR, so I'm looking at. I've just put the applications in. So thanks for that story. That's good.
Oben Robinson is out here complimenting the production staff. So thank you, Oben. They're doing a great job keeping up with the cars and following along on this huge track as we see Ray Evernham cross the start-finish line in that beautiful GT1 Corvette, showing sparks off that front splitter. Ray's having a blast.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
loving the
he
TA2
well,
class. And I asked him what happened yesterday, and he looked right at me like a true crew chief. You know, drivers are known for giving excuses. Crew chief, he said, I ran out of talent.
Mid-corner.
You know, because I'm sure he's heard all the excuses. So now he, as a driver, is going to want to do what he'd like to hear from drivers.
Well, you know, the reason why it's important is that he had a big smash yesterday, so he's trying to actually sort of get back some kudos, because he didn't have a best of days yesterday, did he?
He didn't, but man, you know what? I think even on his bad days of racing, he still considers that a good day just because he loves being out here. And so they retaped the car with white duct tape, and so he races the Ghost with us, and then they call that the Mummy. So there he is. There's the man out here living the dream, trying to race at all the best racetracks in North America.
How many's he got to?
You know, I'm not sure. He's been traveling around the USA since 2017, racing the Python at all the most iconic tracks. So we need to ask him that next time, right?
Absolutely.
But it looks like he's
that
flying
looks a
the
fun
flag.
car to drive, too.
Yeah, he's flying the flag, looks like, on the right front fender there. I believe he's from Adelaide, which is one of my favorite cities in Australia.
Twin City to Austin.
At Ray Evernham. Is it really the Twin City to Austin?
Yes, it is.
Nice. Well, they have a great downtown area.
Well, and of course Adelaide used to have the Formula One race, so it's kind of somewhat apropos. What a beautiful sound that makes too.
Sorry, I just got caught up. Forgot we're supposed to talk about it, but that's a
yeah,
beautiful
that's definitely
car.
the Australian flag. You're right, on the side pod there. So, like I said, this is our last race of the day, and at the moment it's Ray Everingham leading Bruce Raymond with Scott Lovett in third place.
How do you say aluminum?
Aluminium.
You do? Well, how do you say Evernham?
Evernham.
Oh, yeah. We've got my buddy Tony, the camera guy, joining us up here.
Well,
He's been lugging around a 75-pound
Tony's
camera all
taking the rest of the
weekend.
day off because Boris said it's just been taken on by Greenlight Television for the rest of the year, I think.
Newcastle, England is joining us. Give us your best Newcastle accent.
Oh, we are. Good to see you, lads. I'll be down there at the pub later for a pint with you.
I'm just going to start making up places and making them read those. It's Bruce Raymond, last year's Group 10 champion, in new to him TA2 car. Bruce is fast in everything, and I got to give it up to Bruce. I've heard from several SVRA drivers that Bruce Raymond talked them into coming and racing with us in SVRA.
So about 10 minutes to go in this race, which is spreading out quite dramatically. Ray Everingham leading the way from Bruce Raymond, Scott Lovett, Poncho Weaver in 4th place with Boris Said watching on the pit wall and taking the photos.
I like that fire.
Brent Beemath in 5th place and George Vidovic in 6th.
Ooh, I got a question from Shannon. Is the Python or big block powered? I would guess it's a big block because that's a very highly developed, possibly overdeveloped car. So I would guess that would be a 427. Just by looking at it, I'd say he's going to put everything into it that he can. Ooh, look at that. Hanging a wheel up there at turn 7. I love it. That's Brent Bernath right there, racing in the Group 10 stock car division. Brent is currently 5th overall. And that's Dan Malloy coming down the S's, currently 7th. I love the graphics. Thank you guys for putting up the graphics. And if you're wondering about this production, our editor and the graphics people are actually in the Isle of Man. I have no idea what time it is in the Isle of Man, but I'm sure they're pulling long days there to put this together for us. So thank you very much for doing that. And that's Bruce Raymond right behind him. Ooh, smoking that rear right tire.
All right, pick your car. Which one are you going for in this one? I don't want to try NASCAR.
Which one's going to win?
No, if you had to drive one.
Oh, if I had to drive one, you know what? I don't think I'm good enough to drive any of them.
Well,
to be honest,
I didn't say that.
Too high horsepower. Yeah, I don't think I would
Look
even
at these
attempt
sparks
it.
coming
Yeah,
off.
he's
Nice work, Molly.
dragging that front end, man. I like that.
That's really hitting some sparks.
But
Let's put that down.
I have a favorite car.
All right.
In this group, I've got to give it up for Poncho Weaver just because I saw this car when it was just steel tubes laying on a table. So for him to be able to make steel tubes into that, I just think that's a skill that is unbelievable. As we watch Ray Everingham, our clear leader in this, and Ray is just one of those guys in our paddock. His wife is here and kids are joining us this weekend, and they just seem to be having a blast.
I think I'd like to have a go in that car there.
So you'd say you love it?
Oh,
Scott Lovett going up the hill right there in that McDonald's.
He's loving it.
Yeah. See, there's so many puns we can play on that. Scott, I'm sorry. You can fully take that out on me, but I love that McDonald's car. To me, there's nothing better than a Big Mac, and now I'm hungry. As the Ford Fusion comes up the hill, takes that sharp left into turn 5.
Scott, yeah, Scott loving it.
Jim Booth was racing with us this weekend in Radicals and in our Group 9, and he owns several McDonald's franchises in the Southeast. So he probably loves that car too.
He had a bit of a moment there turning into 7.
Swirly. Look at that. Car's getting lower.
I love those
and
sparks
lower.
coming off Ray's car.
Oh, it's 8:37 in the Isle of Man. See, don't you love Facebook? Thank you, Stephen Lackenby.
The Isle of Man are tuning in? Who's this?
No, they're not in the Isle of Man. I just said I wonder what time it is there.
Oh, I see. Well, the pubs are still open then.
So why is he sporting the number 24, do you think, Jonathan? Ray Everingham. Well, Ben, I'll answer that question. He's sporting the number 24 because it's Jeff Gordon's number.
Yeah, I always think it's brave when you pick an iconic number like 48 or 24. Because you're really saying to the rest of the world, I'm as good as that guy. But, you know, you may not be. Dan Malloy in the number 40, the Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Come on, Poncho, give us a good lap. What's his best lap? Poncho did a 1:31.7. That's handy.
I wish Boris would have come up here and given us his insight.
Boris was doing 1:21, so he's 10 seconds off Boris. That's okay. Boris can breathe.
car just, it travels really well. Just noticing it, how it moves, it looks like it's just very well set up. Our race leader. I'm sure Ray's going to be happy putting that into the trailer under its own power in vintage racing. That's the first victory you're looking for, to have a great weekend, to finish the Sunday race, put the car under its own power.
He can forget that tire wall incident now if he finishes.
Yep. Yeah, he'll totally forget about it, because now he's going into the offseason with a victory in our Group 10. He's had a great test in this kind of new-to-him car, and he's just had a lot of fun racing with us.
I think Ray should give us a sort of celebrity Trans Am SVRA stroke entry into his series, so we get one entry per round, and we can select the guy.
Well, I think I'd be surprised if we don't see his buddy Boris Said in that series at some point.
You'd think Boris would be in there,
knowing the talent that he
has.
I
reckon Andy Lally should give it a go.
Yeah, Andy Lally would be good. But I know that Ray and Ernie Francis Jr. Ray has done a lot for Ernie Francis Jr.'s career and helped him out a lot. And I know that Ray, you know, if there's anybody that can spot talent, it's Ray Evernham. And he seems to have taken a liking to Ernie Francis. So I'd like to see something develop out of that.
Yeah, and Ernie, I think, is ready now to break out, if it were, as it were. 7 titles in Trans Am. How many more do you want? He's up there with Jimmy Johnson, Michael Schumacher, and Lewis Hamilton now in terms of titles. But Ernie at 22, 23, is he? Could really 22. Do anything he wanted from here on in.
Yeah, I just got a comment from Roger that these stock cars look like a handful through those S's, and they sure
totally
do. Look at that. And so some of the stock cars that race with us were road course stock cars, but a lot of them, because the road course stock cars were pretty rare, a lot of them are oval cars that they set up the geometry to run road courses, which have a little bit of a disadvantage over the chassis that were built specifically for road courses.
Yeah, we found that out when Tony Stewart took a NASCAR around COTA last year before the Formula One race, which was a lot of fun, to be honest. But he enjoyed it, and I think that was actually the catalyst that sort of gave the go-ahead to look at COTA as a potential circuit for NASCAR. And now we're seeing more road circuits pop up on the NASCAR scene.
We are. As we see Ray Evernham's fire come out right over that JRI Shock sticker. Another one of Ray's companies that he bought recently. So he does shock development too, and that he might be doing that this weekend.
Well, he's getting some development on those shocks, that's for sure. Sparking his way to victory here. Clock ticking down, and this will probably be pretty close to the last lap. And I'm just looking to see, yes, the last lap board is coming out.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at a NASCAR Hall of Famer leading our Group 10 race, coming down the hills at the S's, Ray Evernham.
Coming over the crest towards 6. Ray Evernham, Bruce Raymond, Scott Lovett, Poncho Weaver 4th, Brett Bummer in 5th place, George Vidovic in 6th place, Dan Malloy in 7th, and then David Richardson in 8th position. It's an 8-car race.
So our buddy Adam Sekulo's watching from next door from the driving club at Road Atlanta. Thanks, Adam, for joining us in the booth. We're going to be back here next year, so you got to join us again.
And thank you, Dustin, too. And very much thank you to Kerry Hitt, because poor old Kerry was supposed to be racing. His Cadillac conked out, but he gave us a really good insight into the Trans Am all-class race, which was a doozy.
That was a great race today. As here we go. NASCAR Hall of Famer Ray Evernham is going to take the checkered flag to finish the 2020 season with SVRA.
No, he's going to take the last lap. There you go.
Oh, well, we're doing it again. Overtime. He's not so hard on the brakes this time. Notice that the sparks did not come out. We get the final lap coming out.
He's easing it off a little.
Yeah.
Well, he knows a thing or
Well,
two
like a
about
good crew
easing the
chief,
equipment. Yeah.
He would say, win as slowly as you can.
But would you argue that the likes of Chad Knaus and all the guys that do it today would have probably learned from this guy and thought, okay, this is how you do it? Like you say, he was an innovator.
Yep.
And now the modern day crew chiefs pretty much follow
They've all
his suit.
adopted his
Yeah,
policies,
all adopted
theories,
it.
yeah, and they haven't gone back. Now, I have heard, notice that the center locking hub on his GT1 car, I have heard that NASCAR is going to that instead of the 5 lug nuts. So when they come in for the tire change, it won't be the it'll just be the one.
You do that well.
And they should also be, they're looking at air jacks.
Okay.
So they're bringing so they won't have a jack man anymore. They took our jobs. And they won't have the lug nut guy anymore. And there he is, Bruce Raymond, last year's Group 10 winner, but I think he's going to have some competition there with Ray Evernham.
Great year for the Silver Hair Racing team. Congratulations to Rafa and Morris Hull. Been a good year. Rafa didn't quite do it. But here comes Ray Evernham down to turn 10A for the last time to round out somewhat appropriately the year of SVRA with a bit of an iconic hero in American motorsport. Who better to take the final checkered flag of the 2020 season than Ray Evernham, who takes the win here in Group 10 in the Jeff Gordon numbered 24. Well done to him. Bruce Raymond comes across the line in second place. And I'm just waiting for the third car to come across the line.
That's Bruce.
Oh, that's Bruce second. You know, and I've got a feeling it could be Poncho.
Maybe. Let's see what happens here.
All right. We'll look up the hill, see who comes out.
If there's a blinding car that's coming down,
you can't miss
it's
it.
like glowing. There he comes. There's Poncho. I'm not sure where he's at, if anybody's ahead of him. Poncho Weaver in his newest, I think he said 4th generation. So there's Hinkle.
Well, there's bragging rights to be had here because Boris said didn't get a podium with it today.
Poncho Weaver's going to podium, and Boris said did not. Boris said just missed it. I think he was in 4th.
Yeah.
And that is the 4th Poncho Weaver this generation.
Nice work.
Of the Dodge Challenger. Way to go, Poncho.
Yeah. Scott Lovett takes 4th position. Brent Baymarth in 5th place. George Vidovich in 6th place.
So now
Dan
George
Malloy
can
7th.
look at that.
David
Gives the oi to the corner workers there. Very nice. And now he can mark Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta off of his bucket list.
Yeah, he's got an interest. Oh, that's an Aussie sign if ever I saw one. So, a great day of racing once again. What a great weekend of racing. Ben, your thoughts? Final thoughts of the year? It's been a tough one, I know.
It's been a crazy year, and thanks John Claggett and Tony Perella for putting the schedule back together after 2020.
Yeah, no question. So we are going to come back and round up the rest of the day and the year and the weekend. But that's confirmation that Ray Evernham wins ahead of Bruce Raymond. Poncho Weaver, the car maker turns car driver in the Dodge Challenger in his own made car. What a great day for him. Takes 3rd place. Scott Lovett takes 4th. Brent Bernard in 5th place. George Vidovic in 6th. Then Dan Malloy and David Richardson. We'll take a short break here from Road Atlanta, and we'll be back to wrap it all up with what has been a sensational Trans Am and SVRA weekend. Join us after this break.